Welcome Libra to your Saturn Sextile Pluto deep dive video for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. For the first time since 2013, Saturn and Pluto are exactly at 60 degrees, one of astrology's most enabling aspects, the sextile. And they're going to be in touch with each other within 3 degrees right through to the end of April. But in fact, last year, Saturn moved into Aries on the 25th of May through to the 1st of September, and they were closely connected then. So this is an aspect that's been going on, and then again from the end of February for some time. How will it play out for you? What can you expect through to the end of April in terms of your relationships, finance, energy, and work? I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now to help it to evolve. So if we go back to January 2020, Saturn and Pluto were in a conjunction side by side in the Earth sign of Capricorn. We had COVID, but that may also have been a very powerful time for emotional relationships, family matters, or even where you live. However, fast forwards to now, over the last few years, Pluto has been asking you in its journey off and on, but full-time in Aquarius since November 24, to really think about how you can transform, showcasing your unique flair, artistry, talent, and charisma. The sign of Aquarius, the host, can be friendly, so your connections to others, the more bubbly they are, the more that can transform your situation constructively. But Saturn, of course, in the 7th house can bring a coolness to connection. It's also in its full in Aries, which is a sign of new beginnings, initiation. Saturn is much more to do with culmination, outcomes and consequences. And broadly over the next couple of years, Saturn could throw up some challenges whilst it's in Aries about relationships, but I think it gives you most of all an opportunity to set your celestial stall out with what you really need. Because if we go back over the last couple of years, there's been a time when you've made a lot of sacrifices. As Saturn went through Pisces, it may have been around your work, you may have been really committed, but there may have been times when your physical energy or even health wasn't as good as you would like. And one of the things you learned from that, and Pluto going through your 4th house of Capricorn, was that there is a need at times to say no. So even though Saturn can be cool in Aries, a sign which can be very passionate, it doesn't mean to say you can't recharge your situation in a very constructive way. Because look at the Sun. That's in a lovely sextile with Pluto too. Also, your ruling planet Venus may be detrimented in Aries, but it's in a lovely link with Chiron. If ever there was a time to release some of your concerns about why things didn't happen well for you in the past, it's now. I also think that this event can be very good for you in terms of your business interests or your work. So if you have been finding that not everyone has seen, heard or respected you as much as you would like, this event chart suggests new opportunities could soon be coming your way. Why is that? Well, Mercury's now out of retrograde. Still struggles in Pisces, to be honest, from a practical viewpoint, but it is in the precise functional 6th house for you personally. But Mars brings more energy, more vigor and more stamina, and they're both linking fabulously well to Jupiter, the planet of hope, optimism and good fortune, the ruler of Pisces, so a mutual receptivity. And that suggests if you're linking with people, you want to be firmer about what you want your voice to be heard, you want to be recognized for what you're bringing, but you also need to be able to express your unique individuality. If you can do that, a breakthrough is possible by the end of April, which could delight you. So it's very important with Pluto in the mix to evolve, because I think Pluto can be an energy that we are not always conscious what it's taken out of our lives until after it's happened. Now, people who are really into personal development probably much more attuned to how Pluto can do that and actually set change in process themselves. But still, Pluto can throw up surprises because, of course, it can be about things that are hidden. And perhaps what's hidden for you on this event is your true potential to make very constructive and positive relationships. But it's overcoming the thought that it's not going to happen for you, because the more your thinking is right, the more you can attract something good. So if you're too cautious, Saturn on the seventh house, you could kill off a potential connection before it even gets going, because someone will feel that and know that there's a diffidence on your part, and therefore they won't step forwards either. So Saturn can be protective, but it can also be an energy which is not so good. If you're so risk averse, you don't put yourself in the situation to meet someone special, and that is something to consider. Now, what about in an ongoing relationship, which maybe has its moments like most of them do? How can you approach that? Well, I think it's important to be aware of the moon. It's in the 11th house, celebrating the things we have in common rather than focusing on what's not quite right could be very good too. And I think if there are compromises to be made, the resistance that Saturn and the passion that Aries can arouse could mean that we're blocking off how something could evolve. And in a way, if we make ourselves vulnerable in a relationship, if it's the right tie, the dialogue opening up can actually draw us together. So your natural gift for relating may have at times felt like it was not appreciated or respected in recent years. I get that. I've got a Libra ascendant myself. But I think this gives you a lot of encouragement to be firm, but also not reactive, to be open, not passionately go cold on situations because of past experiences. Venus and Chiron are saying, look, there is a place to release some of the hurtful events, disappointments and sadnesses from the past, and to reset your posture. So I'm going to summarize those four areas for you, Libra. But if you've yet to watch your April deep dive monthly forecast, that's on the screen now. You can also sign up for your free daily horoscope to be fired to your device each morning. Get your celestial pit stop early in the day. Please see below. If you'd like to work with me directly, please see my testimonials below. And you can order your personal horoscopes and get 50% off at the moment. Totally unique to each person they're produced for. Give you searing insights to understand the patterns that are played out in your life so far. Please see below for more on those. So as far as work, professional opportunities and even finance is concerned, I think this can be a very powerful time for you right through to the end of April. Pluto's also in the part of your chart to do with speculation, but if you are connecting to anyone, you'd absolutely be right to do your due diligence and not rush in. So that means clear terms of reference. As far as perhaps more entrepreneurial or business type ideas are concerned, of course, Uranus is going to be moving later in April into the sign of Gemini, which is very, very exciting for you. And that can create a lot of very bright, fresh and adventurous energy. But I think that's still giving you the potential to make change. Mars later this week moves forwards and makes its own sextile to Uranus. So if you're on the ball around the details, yes, something around your long-term finances that's fresh and different is shaping up well. As far as those relationships are concerned, if you're single and have had a number of disappointments, which I really understand can be extremely painful, if you can work on your inner world and change your thinking, if it has become almost constantly set to defense, that's where the change agenda of Pluto can be so helpful to you. So sometimes in life you have to step forwards in order to engage, and we have to understand there is a risk in that. And of course, a really successful connection is quite special, and therefore we may meet some people along the way who aren't quite right for us. But Saturn in that conjunction with the Sun is saying you can do this. And it's just about being patient, but leaving yourself available to meet the person who's really right for you. In an ongoing relationship, if there is something that's a bit stuck, it's an ideal time to talk things through. And with Venus in that seventh house, that is going to give you the opportunity to activate your natural listening skills. I hope you have a really successful Saturn Sextile Pluto Libra. All the best and goodbye.